Well, what's up? I'm just doing general gameplay, all that good stuff. Hopefully you're having a good day. I am. I mean, besides the questions that are bothering me, but it is what it is. Other than that, I'd figured I'd show some general gameplay and all that good stuff. No real topic or anything else. Just playing the game for what it is. Enjoying it as it is, I do. Sharing it along with you. Just doing the quest. Hey, it looks like I can put that on now too. Cool. Let's see, we got a few of these to do. Oh, well, you can expect that. Okay, let's see what we can accomplish with doing our quest and all that. For this particular one, I have to wait to get here. That's generally why, amongst my other type of videos, that I just pick a spot. And all that good stuff, as it is doing for what it is. Let's see, we got that right there. It is useful being able to target your mobs just using the short key and all that. Don't even have to look for them. All you gotta do is push and go. Not all games are like that, though. Don't even have to look at your target. Even the distance is told from your target. It's very nice. It's fairly easy as far as some of that. It gets a little harder when they're ones that are a little bit harder to target as far as because there's a bunch of other ones amongst them too. So like that's not a target. That is. I think that's the last one. Okay, let's see. What else do I have to get? I gotta get this one too. Then I can just go around turning it in. It's fairly simple. Not all games are like that. Don't always tell you where you need to go or any kind of orientation of where you need to be or anything. As far as at least the particular genre that I happen to play. As the flying about part is kind of the boring part to me. At least I don't really have that much of a distance to go. Sorry if it seems I might be being a little bit more quiet than usual. Just trying to be wary as usual. Just depends on what I have to do and all that? Let's see. That's not what it is. That should be my target. That is. Oh, there's another one. Might as well take care of it while there's another one. Before I have to turn it all in. Let's see. We are going to try to go this way. Oh, there's one. Never mind. Going the wrong direction. Apparently I was facing the wrong direction. Or I wasn't high or low enough. There's one in the distance. Okay, there's one. That's within range. I got one more left, and I'll be done with this quest. I should be able to turn them in after that. Of course, well, in the middle of that, well, I'm gonna have to be flying around, so gonna have to think of something as far as a topic. Where could we go with our topic? Could it be maybe amongst certain fields? Maybe certain ones feel threatened by ones that might be better than them, or maybe amongst certain fields, depending on what you say, or what it is that you are required to do, or whatever. Some don't like what one maybe farther educated than them had said, or don't like it for what it is that was insinuated, or maybe even the whole thing is, how can you tell if you're going in the right direction? As far as what it is that is your intended, or what it is that you wish to go. Do you have plans where you want to go? Or how you wish to get there? Why? Maybe the reason? maybe at some point, even amongst all that, for ones that maybe stand against at points of time, maybe you might need to remind them. Because at, possible moments of negligence, they fail to remember that because of maybe their negligence. But of course, also, no matter where it is that you possibly wish to go, maybe resistance happens to show. But maybe to pinpoint what kind. Maybe that's a wise way to see where it is. But also to be able to pinpoint something, which happens to be a video I recently posted on YouTube, by the way, means the accuracy about that is so correct that there is no way that you cannot be incorrect. So, if you have a dream or aspiration, I know this isn't a motivational thing, but just random. Can you describe it? To where anyone, no matter who you happen to describe it, can be as if they are there, even though they could not be there. No matter what you're doing, no matter if you were there or not, to know exactly what they describe in that spot to a point that is to where you are there. But in truth, you're not. Now, within what's your dream and aspiration? Can you do that with your dream or aspiration? If you have one. Even if you were to tell someone of what has happened. Or for how it is maybe you feel. Is it something that amongst many fields do you see it? Do you know when you achieve for what it is you wish to when you see it? Can you tell? Can you not? Anyway, I did say this would spill in from time to time, but it is what it is. Is it with what maybe you connect with people? Are you distant or close? B. Something, if it is, that is an issue. Maybe that's something to work on. But of course, everyone, no matter what, usually has something to work on. It's always fun for me to keep myself busy. No matter what it is I'm doing, in some way or another I'm busy. No matter if I'm posting for what it is that is my post or whatever it may be. Or other things. Or taking the call when it is that it is required to do so. You never know what it is maybe you might do. Maybe. Here's a good one. What about ones that are multi-talented, that are able to do multiple things, but don't really have one set particular thing? Or if it is that you're like that, how do you decide? Is it hard? Is it easy? Do you maybe pick your profession, or what it is that you wish to do upon that day, whatever it may be, on a whim? Or, I mean, curious question. What about, here's a good one. What about a question that answers a question? Those are always fun. Or what kinds of things maybe that you do for fun? Me, I just like playing and speaking for what happens to be on my mind at the time. And at least my perception and what I understand. Or at least the perception that maybe I have that you don't. Somebody that grew up in my area would think something entirely different than one that would have grown up in a different spot. Or in a different way. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I kind of do what it is I do, other than this. It's like, you know what? You can agree with me or you can disagree with me. And also, amongst truth, that's something you can't, though, because, well, either way, even if you accept it or not, it's still the truth. One of my favorite things, actually, is learning something new. Actually, it's like the other day I learned how to pronounce a word that I had never pronounced. It was not fun trying to learn it, but it's all about self-betterment. And doing it right, of course, too. You can practice something wrong all you wish, but when it comes down to someone that does it better than you, who is the victor? Okay, that is two bosses, so I'm not going to deal with them. I could easily do that, but I don't feel like doing that. Well, it would be a little bit harder than easy, but it would be easier. Of course, also sometimes just learning something new. I mean, in order for someone to learn something interesting about that is they have to have their mind open. If it is that you're thinking a certain way, skeptical, then what result do you get? Do you learn something, or is because of that resistance that because of your closed mind, you're unable to learn? If you're not learning something every day, you might want to change that. Even amongst for what it is that, for me, is right now. Gaining just a little bit more control. Because there's many things I could have said that I did not. Not tooting my own horn, but there may have been a few things I said I probably shouldn't have. That's fine. Live and learn. Get better as it is you learn. Not repeat the same mistakes. Of course, some are able to teach, while others, they are unable to teach. Some have practical reasoning. Some do not understand, for they do not know that there is such kind of reasoning. Like, The whole thing where I talked about the arrow. Do you know what concept I am speaking of? When I speak of that arrow, relative force. But of course, also have things that maybe people misunderstand or think it means something else. Never fun when you mean something particular and someone else thinks that you mean something else. I've had people confuse me for many times. And I actually had someone ask me a question once. But since, at least within the general of what it is that I do with my channel in general, as far as what it is that I happen to do with my motivational poetry thing, my answer is completely different. No, I do not feel I need to. For your comprehension is not my responsibility, for that is your need, not mine. No, if I'm just normally speaking between two individuals and they look confused, that is different. And there's a reason why, actually, well, one person that may listen to it will see something different than another that does. Now, if one thinks I said one thing, I've had this happen to me, actually. Like, there was one I talked about media and what it is that they put in front of you. And the kids that watch. And within what it is I was saying, I said, do you filter for what your kids watch? Do you even know what they're watching? Do you even know what you're watching? But for the person or individuals, they thought, and after me having to go through every single word that I said to prove upon the fact that is not what it is I said, and after, they're like, well, you could have just explained. And I'm like, well, you could have just listened to it and not assumed. And your result would be the same. I actually had that happen to me. I had people trying to get in my door because of that once. Once I explained it, that's fine, but and they felt that that is what I was saying, but I wasn't. I was saying, hey, you know what? Media, at times, they lie to you. You need to do your research. If you do not, then when you find yourself to be misinformed, the only one to blame is you. But they, somewhere, thought I was telling them that they were a bad parent. Or never once did I even mention that. I said, in general, it's like you were watching what you're watching, but, have you really noticed much of a difference? Not telling them they were bad, it just... But it was mainly oriented towards adults, not kids. It was an adult video. I mean, just a small example of something that's dealt with for me. I mean, for some reason, they thought that. When I never insinuated that. It's fascinating how people take certain information and think they hear something. It is interesting, though. Let's see, I think that's everything as far as this area. I don't see any other indications that I have anything there. Okay, those are boss ones. course, that was amongst one of my older ones, too. At times, I become a little bit more wary in how it is I say it or do. Let's see. Do you ever feel like you're stepping on eggshells sometimes? That's a good one. I mean, within what situation you happen to be in, that's never a pleasant feeling. But also, to have something happen and not know the reason, that's another thing. That makes you step on eggshells, but in a way that you're like, okay, apparently I pissed somebody off or something, and, well, I don't know where or when. Not that I'm concerned from that particular, but it's like, okay, so which part struck that nerve in particular? That's the part that I wonder about, that I was talking about in my previous. Because I'm far from concerned as far as what happened and all that. Or who might have sent, or where it may have came from. I just wish to know from what I possibly could have said. Because then I can tell what group and where it is they stand. But anyway. Trying to have an open mind is what it is. Very well at problem solving and other things such as that. Apparently comprehension as well. And, well, other things that I do not need to mention. But it is what it is as far as that. But stepping on eggshells is trying to find out amongst what group. Because, you know, we are somewhat group animals. So, if that was from such things as that, can easily probably expect. Either that, or maybe that was one that might have been maybe one that acted on their own accord. If there was no, well, group or whatever. That is only why I seemed so, well, distant or off, because it's like, it's not that I'm intimidated, I just wish to know from where. You know? But that is what it is. But other than that, do you ever have experiences like that? I'm pretty sure that maybe you have. Well, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that. Sorry if, actually. I don't know, it's just... I'll be thinking about that for a little while. Just trying to figure out, like, all the information possible. Cannot make a proper decision if you do not have the proper information to make that decision. At least on how to go forward. Gonna know the facts before it is you're able to move forward. I will speak of this, though. You wish to know upon what it is I was watching when... I'll show you. You'll have to give me a second, though. But that aside, for that is why I was asking to know upon what side. But, you know, moving forward, gotta notice when it is, leaves fall. When it is you're moving forward. As far as opportunity and all that, turning the tables. Not always easy to do that. But it's like, I'll be honest, I've seen many. Even have recorded many. But this one particularly was, well, unique. What it was. According to the information and the knowledge for what it is. Well, upon what it is that happened to be light, it was fleed, because it happened to be in the presence of light. But that aside, it's more where it came from that I'm trying to find out. Here's the funny part. If it was for what it is that I happen to have seen, it was on camera. For even within the naked eye, I could see it. In fact, it was fairly easy to tell. For with paranormal activity, have you ever seen darkness that seemed to grow? Expand for what it is. But at the exact moments that there was a flick of this, it was gone. Just a mere pinprick. But there was more than one. At least two. Other than that one. There was one that I already know. But these other two, they were different than this one. But the part that confused is this. Two different places at the same time was shown this one. One place to where they could not go. And one, well, they were on camera when there they happened to go. It is fascinating, though. And for what it is at that point I happen to be seeing. I could tell they were mad for what they thought they could do. With a shield that pushes back. Of course, I don't know if the one happened to just be scared off. Or were they working together? But shortly before, it felt as if there were googly eyes looking upon me. And then, when multiple things happen to move or noises, warn them if it was there was something that particular they seek. They would have to leave. They refused. What resulted was not exactly what they might have had in mind. But of course, their opportunity had, well, ran out before they chose that time. For, at that point, the leaves had already fell before the coming and their time.